Hello and welcome to DriftTV. I'm your host Jesse McDonald and it's an absolute pleasure to have your company. I'll be with you over the course of the show. During the show we have drifting highlights from Queensland Raceway, Stanthorpe, Archerfield, some Drift All-Stars from the Europe and some short clips from Gympie Off-Road Short Course and Power Cruise Night. In Tech Talk, Kris Frome talks hints and tips about improving your car and your driving. In Driver DNA, we meet with international FD driver Forrset Wang, World Time Attack winner Michael Rosenbalt, world-class drifters Luke Fink, Josh Boettcher, Kris Frome, ADGP winner Rob White, our Hollywood Mad Max driver and drifter Eugene Artisan, Speedway champion Shane Heathcote, and we can't forget our special guest Red Bull V8 supercar driver Shane Van Gisbergen. So there's plenty of action to keep you entertained and strapped down. It's that time of the show where we must crack on with it. I'm Jesse McDonald and you're watching DriftTV.
Full track Eastern Creek, just because it's got so many height changes and undulations, and some of it's off camber and on camber. It's just a good fun driver track. Also, as a small track, it's no good for my race car because it's so laggy and it's a big track car. But if I took one of those, like the school cars down to Rayleigh, that's a good fun little track too. So just different corners, different styles. It's good fun.
Favourite track would have to be probably Sydney Motorsport Park South Circuit, or probably Sydney Motorsport Park in general. But I enjoy the track we just ran at World Time Attack, even though it's very limited corners. It suited my high horsepower sort of setup, and we did quite well there. But the South Circuit is really would have probably have to say is my favourite drift track. If someone asked me where we should go drifting the next round of ADGP and I had my choice, I'd probably choose Sydney Motorsport Park South. So it's you can throw sort of a backwards entry into it and it sort of just flies in there, and it's pretty fast, and then it's just up this hill of nice cambered corners, and it's got a good backdrop. It's great for spectators. It's got some elevation changes in it, so definitely I think South Circuit.
What's your favourite track?
I got a lot. Highlands in New Zealand, Spa in Belgium, Bathurst is up there, and then Taupo in New Zealand. So yeah, they're all pretty good.
Do you get home often?
I go back as much as I could. I'd live in New Zealand if I could. It's a beautiful place, and yeah, love it.
My favourite track. My favourite track to date that I've driven would be a track that you can't actually drift anymore, and it's in Estonia. And it's actually a rallycross track, and you actually get airborne twice in a drift car, so it's really, really cool. You come in full speed on initiation. Just as you initiate, it's on a hump, so you get all 4 wheels off the ground, and then you land and you're sliding straight at a wall. Like, multiple cars get written off on that wall. You literally land, you're on the ground for another second, and then your rear bar up against the wall, dragging your bumper along. You switch back, and again you start climbing really steeply up this hill, where as you're going over the hill, like, your tyres start lifting up off the ground. And again, you come down the hill and directly at a wall. Like, you're just looking straight at a concrete wall that's going to completely destroy your car.
You're watching DriftTV.
First event, London, second place. What can be better?
Congratulations on first place in round one. It is all to play for.
Yeah, I finished in second place in All-Stars round number 3. The weekend is mine.
Tri-Ace Tyres, new sponsor for this season. How are you enjoying them?
Yeah, that's been a big change with the car. Our car, we've developed this over the last couple of years, and it was quick last year. But when we put these Tri-Ace tyres on, it's just amazing. There's very little people can keep with us now. The competition we have here now, we need that pace, and these tyres are definitely giving us that little bit extra. Yeah, and that shows why we're second on the podium here. So
Thanks to Tri-Ace Tyres, and yeah, tyres are perfect.
Today on Tech Talk, we're talking about your suspension on your vehicle. Now, when you're first learning to drift, having factory suspension is more than good enough to actually get you going and make your car slide and be controllable. But as you improve your drifting, there's things where you can actually replace your camber arm to something that's adjustable so you can get better track on the actual surface of the road. You can get a stronger toe arms, remove high cast if you've got a Skyline, and have more and more adjustability to the suspension to make the suspension suit your driving. My favorite track, there's a couple of them, but my most favorite one, which is one that doesn't get driven that often anymore, but down at Sydney Motorsport Park, the short track, because it's a big downhill entry where you can throw it in backwards or throw it in with a big angle, and then you've got 3 corners going up the hill as well. I like that. It's an auditorium style of track, and people can see everything that's going. But that's my favorite drifting track. The second one, it's out the back of nowhere. It's at Stanthorpe. And it's just a fun track. It's just 3 corners displays, and it's a great place for tandem battles as well. And that's probably my second favorite track.
So probably one of my favorite tracks would be Adelaide International Racetrack. I've only gone there once, and I really struggled in qualifying and practice to get the car wide enough because it's got such a steep bank, and it's quite a coarse finish on the bitumen there. It required a lot of guts to push the car further, and I had no experience on a bank track before that, and yeah, we really had to step it up when it came to battles, and the feeling of pushing your car past where you think you should and then running it on a wall around a corner at a lot of angle and a lot of speed was pretty wild. So that's probably the best feeling after running a lap at that track at Adelaide International Raceway.
My favourite track, I love Archerfield. You know, I love the smallness and the fact that everyone's kind of there looking over, the heaps of corners, fast, switchy, you know, you really got to be on your game there. But yeah, that's probably my favourite, just to get out there. You can drive any car, you know, like you don't have to have the best car to go there and have a great time. You know, you don't need a lot of power, so probably Archerfield. Love QR. I love every track, really. Every track's got its own little flavour going on, you know, so.
Best track, fastest speed would be, well, definitely Stanthorpe's quite a good track. It's definitely one of my favourites. Also, yeah, Calder Park was definitely a good thing to drive onto as well. Being a NASCAR track and being able to enter on a bank like that is just impressive. It's unreal to get that experience.
Favorite track would probably be Horse Thief Mile at Willow Springs in California. It's a mountain track and it's got hairpins and bold turns and a lot of elevation changes, and it really reminds me of like a Toge style like mountain run. And that's, you know, we grew up street driving and driving mountains and stuff, and definitely some of the most fun that you'll have is on a mountain. I mean, a flat track's just a flat track, but if you got one that's got uphill, downhill, it's kind of like a roller coaster. You know, you're like upshifting fourth gear on a downhill. That's a crazy feeling. Like, you definitely start moving when you're clicking fourth gear in a 1,000 horsepower car going down a hill.
Welcome back. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing, and there's plenty more to come. I'm Jesse McDonald, and this is DriftTV.
You're watching DriftTV. You're watching DriftTV. So, how you get involved in Formula Drift is, if you're out there in the States drifting, Formula Drift, it would be like the highest tier of drifting probably in the world, and it's the most recognized. So, if you want to be, you know, in competitive drifting, that's where you want to be. So, you go through Pro-Am. After Pro-Am, the top 3 would be awarded licenses into FD, and then you just start running FD. But going from the Pro-Am level to the FD level is like a huge gap, huge gap. So like when I was running Pro-Am, it was like domination, total domination, to where like I would qualify first and win almost every event that I went to. And then when I got into FD, you're going up against the likes of Kris Frome and Van Gisbergen, and these guys have huge budgets, huge crews, and their programs are dialed in. So you're going up against like factory teams that have like way more experience, way more money, and better cars, better setups, more knowledge. So you struggle to compete against those kind of guys. So I went, my first season FD, I finished 16 overall, which is not bad for like a first season of doing FD. And I learned a lot from that. And then the year after that, we went up to 5th position overall. And every year, you know, we learned and we worked on our car and worked on our program, and it's definitely a challenge. I mean, you're out there in a highly competitive stage, and these guys, like I said, they got huge budgets and lots of people getting paid money to figure out what works the best.
What was your budget like?
Our budget's shoestring, I guess they'd call it, so would be on the lower end, but we still managed to make it happen, you know. Had a lot of good friends that would help out and crew, and you know, the first year I had guys that spent their own way to come out and help me race, which is like, that's stand up. I mean, for somebody to spend their own money to help somebody else race, that's dedication right there. And luckily, years after that, we were getting enough money coming in that I could pay my team a little bit, pay for their flights, pay for their hotels, and kind of give them some kind of incentive to come and help, because it's hard. I mean, you're taking time away from work, losing money, spending time away from friends and family to come and go and help somebody else race. So I definitely appreciate all the help that I've got along the way from friends and family and sponsors to make it all happen.
You know what? That was a fantastic experience over in Africa. In one sentence, it's basically like going to a theme park full of awesome cars with all your mates every day. It was horrible. So working on a film set is really good fun sometimes, but it's also quite a lot of hard work as well. They're extremely long days most of the time, so we're up out of the house before it gets light, we're on set before it gets light. We do, because I was a double, I had to look like someone else, so I spent 2 hours in makeup and hair every morning, and then I had to get wardrobe as well. Then you get a quick bite to eat, and then you're straight out on set and doing whatever you need to be doing for the day. But luckily for me, because I was that stunt double, and I got to play 2 of my own characters as well, I was always doing something that was really fun and exciting. So I didn't actually have any downtime, which was brilliant. So every day I was either trying to drift a 3-wheeled hot rod basically on sand that just was not designed to do that sort of stuff, or trying to do like 360s with people all over the car and trying to work out how to do that safely, or getting crushed between two semi-trailers in a car with basically no protective stuff on me, and working out where do we put the bash bars on, and how far in do the trucks come in, or do I do all the bashing and make sure it's all safe and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of background stuff to it all, but it's really good fun and exciting stuff to get involved in.
Sometimes different things can happen with you and your car, and you have to live with the car, so only it should be worked out.
One of the main things is the adrenaline buzz you get from drifting. It's just incredible and undescribable unless you've done it yourself.
You can feel that sound and everything goes up to all your body, and you can put it any gear you want and the car is just flying. I really like to push it to the limits, chase the opponents. It's an experience, like something you need to feel inside your soul, inside yourself, and that's why I do drifting.
You're watching DriftTV.
Welcome back, and it's that time of the show again where we say goodbye. And remember to visit www.drifttv.com.au. Have a look around our site where we have highlights of drifting, and as well visit our shop where we have t-shirts and some caps you can get and style out. Well, that's all we have for you tonight. It was a pleasure having your company. I'm Jesse McDonald, and this is DriftTV.
Yeah, I might need a push.